Tonight, Philadelphia is entering a new chapter in its history. The city is turning the page on decades of gun violence.
I feel absolutely safe.
I feel safe.
Yeah, I feel safe in the city.
Violent crime rates are hitting historic lows.
You put your foot on the gas and you don't let it go. We're really pushing ourselves to be better because I love this job.
We get an in-depth look into what's driving the change, the people powering the progress.
We've saved a lot of lives.
How social media is playing a role, and whether this safer future is here to stay.
Don't just bring me change. Let me be a part of change.
A special edition of Action News, A Safer City, from crisis to comeback, starts right now.
And right now, Philadelphia is on track to hit the lowest rate of homicides and violent crimes in 40 years. The numbers say Philadelphia is a safer city, and we thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Rick Williams.
And I'm Sharrie Williams. So what's behind this comeback from the crime crisis? In the next 30 minutes, our team will give you an up-close look at the progress in action. From an exclusive one-on-one with the city's top cop and the shifts in law enforcement, to grassroots community-led efforts to make neighborhoods safer, to the state of crime in the suburbs, and to the social media's role in helping police and victims.
Yeah, and one of the clearest ways to show you how crime has dropped in recent years is a simple bar chart. When it comes to murder, 2021 was the most violent year on record. By this time, there were 391 homicides. So far this year, we are at 161, and that's a 59% drop.
Let's look at violent crime, including robbery, rape, and assault. It peaked in 2022, and it's now down 12% since then. The trend is obvious. Crime is on the decline. Let's get started with Action News' John Paul to break down the data behind the drop in violence.
As COVID gripped the nation, another pandemic was beginning to rear its ugly head. Violence exploded in Philadelphia.
A 55-year-old woman has been shot to death, and she becomes the city's 500th homicide victim of the year.
By the end of 2021, we saw the highest number of homicides the city had ever seen. 562, more than 10 per week.
We're getting reports in the mail.
The vicious trend continued into 2022, with shootings and robberies surging across the area. It seemed no area was safe. Countless families left shattered.
So they ended up knocking on our door in the morning to tell us.
Police broke the news to Eric Beauregard that his son Everett was randomly murdered as he simply walked down 35th Street in Powelton. Video shows his killer walk past and just start firing. Everett was the 362nd homicide in 2022.
The ripple effect is, it's unworldly. Like, we can't put words to it.
To this day, his killer has not been found. But since those dark days, his family has begun to find a sense of purpose, fighting back against violence.
Within hours, we were talking about what we could do in his memory, because he was a very empathetic, very understanding, very caring person. The idea behind the foundation was to try and do the things that Everett had planned to do.
They're not alone in their fight. Neighborhood organizations have teamed up with police, city, state, and federal officials, all trying to tackle the crisis. And there are signs it's working. The 6ABC data journalism team dug through the numbers dating back decades and found the number of murders is plunging. Homicides down nearly 60% from the bloodiest days of the crime epidemic. By the end of August, the city saw 146 homicides, which is the lowest number year to date in at least 40 years. But just because numbers show a drop doesn't mean people feel a difference. We asked people if they thought crime was up or down, and the response was mixed.
I live by like 21st Girard, and it's just up. It's all homeless people.
Down. This year is better than every other year.
Every time they're sending me something, someone has died, someone has got killed.
I do think that crime probably has gone down a little bit, though not much.
One thing that may explain the blurry perception on crime is that while violent crime, which includes homicides, robbery, rape, and aggravated assaults, is down, it hasn't fallen dramatically. So far this year, it's down about 18% for the same time in 2022 and 12% from the same period in 2021. Also, high-profile crimes can often skew perception.
I think that the media really blows up some stuff, but I think overall that it has been going down a lot.
Our research shows crime has been going down. In families like the Beauregards hope that trend continues.
So it's good to see that things are going in a positive direction. Unfortunately, for us, it doesn't bring Everett back.
I'm John Paul, Channel 6 Action News.
Philadelphia police attribute the drop in crime in part to more strategic policing and intentional efforts to boost morale in the ranks.
In an Action News exclusive, our Sarah Bloomquist sat down with Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel to talk about what's changed over the last few years and why he thinks the city streets are becoming increasingly safe.
As we're sitting here today, is there a word or a sentiment when you think about the fact that we're talking about a decline in crime?
I'm not surprised. Like we've been here before when we focus on the work and we focus on doing it together, and then when we have the men and women who I'm extremely proud of, the work that they've been doing each and every day in the police department, and having partners across the city that we're all rowing in the same direction. I think what we're showing people that we can. I feel like I'm supported, not by just the leadership, about the folks in the community. I can't tell you how many people tap me on the shoulder and say, keep up the great work. You guys are doing a good job.
Is it even more remarkable when you think just 5 years ago we were in the midst of the pandemic and social uprising, and we were talking about defunding police?
In the midst of all of that, the police department continued to move forward. And so what I'm proud of is their resiliency. And it shows the resiliency of this men and women in this department. Listen, we don't think we're perfect, but it was hard to see folks look at the department and see that they didn't have value anymore, and that they weren't getting the work done. And so, but you now see when the last 2 years I poured into them. Right, part of my work is to pour into them and try to build up their morale and make them feel good about this job.
How much has strategy changed in crime fighting, in policing?
We're much more strategic. We know who our targets are. We know who the people who have a higher propensity to engage in violence. And be able to target. The technology has really enhanced our ability. The DNA, our forensic lab, they have done a phenomenal job, an absolute phenomenal job using forensics now, and soon we'll be moving to a new lab. So watch out, folks, right? I mean, we'll be at the cutting edge of all of that.
How do you explain public perception that crime is a problem, especially in major cities, when in fact there have been vast improvements over the past decades?
We have to manage expectations, right? It's when you have such a difficult period that we came out of with such a high level of violence that we had never saw in our history of our police department and the history of this city. It's going to take time, right? 1 year is not going to change that, but you start to hopeful that 2 years, people start feeling, I feel a difference. So I'm going to continue to push us to be better and to make us, I believe, we're one of the finest police departments in America. Period.
So the data echoes what the chief just told us. Crime is falling and things are getting better, but some people on the Action News social media pages do not believe it. These are some of the comments that we received. So we asked people in 3 different neighborhoods whether they feel like crime is up or down.
I feel like it's been pretty safe right now. I do feel safe in the city.
I feel great. I mean, honestly, things are going up and up if crime rate is down.
Every time you turn around, somebody's getting robbed, stabbed, shot.
I feel safe. I'm not gonna lie. I feel safe while I'm standing right here.
I feel it's really crazy and up. It's up because every day I get up, there's a crime happening.
It's bittersweet, 50-50. 1 minute is up, the next minute is down, get a little moment of peace here and there.
So why the disconnect?
It's a question that criminologists and criminal justice researchers have kind of pondered for a really long time. This is not a new problem.
Here's the thing. Beliefs about crime go beyond experiencing it. They're also about environment. Maureen Rush, a former PPD officer and head of the Penn Police, is now a safety consultant. She points to a recent study she did about market ease. People told her dropping crime stats didn't change their perception of danger.
It feels dirty. They see unhoused people laying on the streets. People are panhandling, getting close to their face. It's not lit at night, and there's disorder.
People can be told most crime is personal, not random. Still, news stories, even about bizarre or faraway crime, and social media posts, whether right or wrong, have an outsized effect. And it's just human to think the past was great, but things now are awful.
You can go back to Aristotle and like the ancient Greeks, and they will tell you that the previous generation, that the new generation is out of control.
But perception can turn around, though it takes time as people pass the word that a place is cleaner, busier, fun, and safe. We've seen it here before. In the 90s, Ed Brindell took Center City from a deserted shambles to avoid to the place to be. Then Rush was part of the turnaround of University City. Police agencies and private security brought down lifestyle crime, streets were cleaned and lit, ambassadors roamed with helpful smiles, and that led to new businesses and happy crowds.
I had parents come that were alums of Penn in the 80s and said, I wasn't going to let my son or daughter come here. But today, as we walked around, I couldn't believe how much it changed.
Now, this isn't just about the well-to-do areas. PHS, the same folks behind the flower show, has a program to clean and clear vacant lots. And in some of the toughest parts of North Philly, that is correspondent with a 29% drop in crime. They say they see people coming out again to enjoy their block.
And that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
All right, Tamala Edwards, thank you for that report. Well, as encouraged as city leaders are with the decrease in gun violence, they know they didn't do it alone. Grassroots community organizations have had a big hand in the change.
Action News reporter TaRhonda Thomas joins us now live. And TaRhonda, you've been keeping up with some of these nonprofits for years.
Absolutely, Rick and Shar. You know, at a time when a lot of these organizations had to bootstrap the projects themselves, community organizations were among the first to step up, many with creative solutions to anti-violence, including this farm.
And this is a working farm.
The feeling of a far-out farm in the middle of Germantown. And that's not even the biggest surprise on the grounds of Arbery Arboretum.
Anthony! Bebito!
They are.
What did you eat today?
The 13 goats who live here are actually part of the solution to gun violence.
You don't know what's going to connect with a kid.
That outreach, the mission of Philly Goat Project.
If you care for an animal, you're willing to grow.
The program uses goats to connect kids to nature and their feelings.
We're able to talk to people like it's a safe space.
It's one of the programs that has received an anti-gun violence grant from the city of Philadelphia.
140 organizations that the city funds to the tune of what will be $30 million.
As Philadelphia hits a record low number of homicides for the year, Public Safety Director Adam Geer attributes some of that success to community organizations.
We have to acknowledge that they are in the community, they're doing this work.
The city's multi-tier approach to stopping violence includes giving grants of anywhere from $2,000 to $1 million to groups who put boots on the ground. Those groups include Philly Truce, started in 2020 by Stephen Pickens and Mazie Kasher.
It is unique for a nonprofit to be as young as they are and to have made the impact that they've made.
You see a problem and you want to get in and fix it. Period.
They used their own savings to start the nonprofit, which began by helping settle disputes before they turned violent. Now they do everything from neighborhood peace patrols to programs for kids and job and mentorship opportunities for people returning home from incarceration. That work now happening in Philly Truce's brand new office.
Okay, we're here.
Thanks in part to a $250,000 grant from the city.
It's evidence that the people who live with the problem have the solutions.
From Philly Truce patrolling the streets to an organization called Beyond the Bars, which focuses on creating beats. And Philly Goat Project, helping kids with kids. A diversified approach to a solution.
I think that all of the different approaches work.
As organizations at the grassroots work to stop gun violence.
Anytime we're being intentional and thoughtful about our approach, we are going to have more success.
And the goats are really happy right now because the kids are taking such great care of these kids. In less than 5 years, the city of Philadelphia has given out more than $60 million in grants to community organizations. If you want more information on the next round, we have it at 6abc.com/links. In Germantown, TaRhonda Thomas, Channel 6 Action News.
Yeah, the safe space is so important. TaRhonda, thanks.
Thank you, TaRhonda.
Next tonight, collaboration and cutting-edge technology. See how the surrounding communities are utilizing the newest tools in their effort to cut down on crime and the results that they're seeing.
Also, social media's role to bring down crime in Philadelphia. A special edition of Action News, A Safer City, from crime to comeback. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to a special edition of Action News, A Safer City, from crisis to comeback. While Philadelphia is on track to reach historic lows in homicides and violent crimes, some leaders in suburban towns raised concerns that Philadelphia's crime woes were spilling over into their communities. So where do things stand in the suburbs right now?
Action's reporter Chad Pradelli went looking for answers and joins us live in Upper Darby tonight with more on what he found. Chad.
Rick, like Philadelphia, violent crime is largely down in the suburbs, and police chiefs out here credit a few things. They say it's part technology, part Philly police brass, but more than anything, the men and women in blue and proactive policing.
I can circle any number of cameras.
This is the Real-Time Crime Center in Bensalem.
This technology has changed the game for us.
It's equipped with cameras and license plate readers at 65 intersections in the township.
One facing south.
The bulk of which were added in 2023.
That was a hit on that to notify the officer.
They get 90,000 hits a week for unregistered vehicles.
Here it's saying it's a wanted person.
Vehicle owners with warrants and other violations.
This technology is really refining us and making us much more efficient and effective at what we're doing.
Partly enhanced by artificial intelligence. So say police are looking for a white pickup.
We can enter that type of vehicle and it'll hone in on all the pickup trucks that have traveled through the township.
And part of the reason Part 1 crimes, which are mostly violent crimes, are down 13% since 2022 in Bensalem. And clearance rates are at an all-time high of 47%. Still, the city of brotherly love is a problem.
We typically would have about a 40% arrest rate for those who live in Philadelphia who come to Bensalem Township. We've actually seen a 13% increase. Last year, that was up to 52%.
In Abington, violent crime is down 8% in the past year.
You have a little machine gun.
Chief Patrick Malloy, who's been critical of driver equity laws and no cash bail in Philadelphia, says proactive policing and vehicle stops have helped eradicate guns like these off the streets.
We get a gun off you, you're getting hooked up, and the DA and the prosecutors and the judges here are going to give you cash bail because that's the sensible thing.
These suburban chiefs also credit the new leadership in Philadelphia and its collaboration efforts. Upper Darby Police Superintendent Timothy Bernhardt says in the past, color communities took what he calls a siloed approach to law enforcement, focusing on just their community, but not now.
We meet regularly, we talk regularly, we have officers and detectives on the same task force, it's data sharing, and it's no secret that when the city of Philadelphia has made the advancements that they have had with Commissioner Bethel and Mayor Parker, the outlying suburbs see that.
And those in law enforcement say it's impossible to pinpoint why violent crime surged in the early 2020s, but they say the pandemic, mental health, and hesitant policing after George Floyd all played a role. Live in Upper Darby, Chad Pradelli, Channel 6, Action News. Sharrie, Rick.
All right, Chad, thank you for that report. A Safer City, from crisis to comeback, continues live. Next with combating crime before it happens.
We go inside a local organization that's identifying people at risk of gun violence and helping keep the city safe. We're back in 2 minutes.
Well, collaboration is the key to crime-fighting success in Philadelphia. The Civic Coalition to Save Lives is an umbrella organization that monitors and supports several groups.
That's including one that is run out of the city's Safe Neighborhoods office. It's an innovative program that has become a national model for other cities to follow.
The Group Violence Intervention Program, or GVI, identifies people who are likely to become victims of gun violence or someone who could possibly pull the trigger. A GVI team led by Dion Sumter goes door to door to identify and engage with those at risk, offering employment and several other resources to turn their lives around.
We can have them working in 72 hours. If they are in fear of their lives and they need to be relocated, we can have them in a hotel the day of their request and have them in an apartment of their choosing within 30 days.
From 2020 to 2022, GVI made offers of help to 276 people who were associated with neighborhood criminal groups. That number is up to almost 1,500 people today. And GVI has begun a pilot program in the 22nd Police District to offer services to young people ages 12 to 17.
With this new juvenile expansion, we're now able to engage those who may not be on that spectrum to kill to be killed, but we do know they got next. So we wish to intercede. We wish to really stop that unfortunate cycle of violence.
And it's making a difference. Dion Sumter says officials from Sweden, Denmark, Miami, Florida, and Richmond, Virginia are just a few who have recently reviewed this program in Philadelphia as a model for reducing violent crime. In Philadelphia, residents have spoken up and made their voices heard. Council President Kenyatta Johnson explained how community advocates delivered a message to City Council.
Saying, hey, we have to address gun violence differently. How are we going to look at investing in organizations on the front end as opposed to the issue of mass incarceration, which is on the back end?
Johnson says council has made gun violence the #1 priority in the city. Well, our special edition of Action News continues coming up next with a powerful tool to fighting gun violence.
We look at how social media is helping combat crime and uplift spirits. We're back in a moment.
Welcome back to a special edition of Action News, a safer city from crisis to comeback. And part of Philadelphia's crime-fighting success can be attributed to social media. One social media page has been tracking crimes in the city in real time.
No Gun Zone's online presence has also become a beacon of hope for the youth in Philadelphia. Action News' Christy Aletto spoke to the man behind the page.
With almost 500,000 followers, Philly-based creator Terrence Harrell has made it his mission to share community news and information about crime. He is the man behind the Instagram page No Gun Zone. The account, known for offering an unfiltered look about the impact of violence, at times includes bloody photos, surveillance videos, to sharing families' GoFundMe pages.
In the last few years, I toned down a little bit. I used to be way more graphic.
Harrell preferred to speak by phone to maintain a sense of privacy, but says what started as an idea for a clothing line turned into a raw look at what was playing out on city streets.
What No Gun Zone did was, I boosted it to a level that was probably never even seen before, and it woke people up.
The account that started in 2014 has been a labor of love, but it's also a lifeline for teens.
What sites do you guys go on?
I go on No Gun Zone, and I go on like the Philly Angels page.
What specifically are they showing?
Like everything, like people doing big achievements, people dying.
A go-to for kids at after-school programs at nonprofits like New Options, More Opportunities in Powelton to As I Plant This Seed in Hunting Park.
A lot of my kids are actively on No Gun Zone and using it as an information source.
Often blamed for fueling violence, anti-violence advocates credit sites like No Gun Zone for helping calm the bloodshed.
It also shows people getting locked up, people getting caught, and if you get caught, you could face up to life in jail.
So as a teen, it's acted as a deterrent for you?
Yeah.
Sites like No Gun Zone that are pushing positivity when it comes to making sure organizations like As I Plant This Seed are visible and making sure people know where their resources at and where people can get real help.
Harrell also highlights small businesses to celebrating young people getting college scholarships.
It just can't be one way of, gore and horror and trauma. There are, some beautiful things happening in Philadelphia.
Christy Aletto, Channel 6, Action News.
Well, that does it for this special edition of Action News, a safer city from crisis to comeback. We thank you for joining us. Brian Taft's now standing by for Action News at 6 coming up.
Now for Rick Williams and the entire Action News team, I'm Sharrie Williams. Have a great night.